Earlier this year, our first guest roasted Tom Brady so delectably, she ate him for Thanksgiving dinner. On January 5th, she hosts the Golden Globes. Please welcome Nikki Glazer. It's great to have you here, and congratulations. I just read in the New York Times that you were named Comedian of the Year.
Thank you. I didn't even know it was a thing you could be.
I didn't know it was a thing you could be either, but it's great to be it, right?
It really is. I got 2 weeks left to be that. It would have been nice to find out about it in February. But,
yeah, you're right. You're right. You could have got a lot more mileage out of
it's
that.
nice. It's I got a free gift card to Buca de Beppo and a 7-day free trial at the New York Times.
Excellent.
Yeah.
What has your life been like since your triumphant performance at that roast?
It was a life-changing kind of performance, like one of those things that you just are like, you just never think is going to happen, but everything changes after it. It really was that for me, and it's
kind of like, in a way, like how you would talk about being on Johnny Carson and Johnny would wave you over to the couch and the next day suddenly you were a big star.
Exactly. It was that, which doesn't exist anymore for comedians, but it really was that. The next day, I was, in line places and seeing my face on people's phones, and it was just, I felt like Taylor Swift for a couple days. Like I felt that level, and it was so cool. And now because of that roast, it's like people really want me to be mean all the time and just savage and roast them. So it's just people coming up to me being like, roast me, please. Just these people who love, they're into some weird stuff in bed.
Do you think they really want it, though, when they say roast me, please? Do you think
I always say, no, you don't want it. And they go, yes, I can handle it. And they don't realize that roasting is like, it's an art, and it's something I spend a lot of time on, and isn't just something that comes naturally to me to be that mean and lock into that. So it's usually just me being like, you don't want it. And they go, please. And I go, you're ugly. Or just something just really blunt, or like, your wife is cheating on you, or I hope you die in a fire. I don't know. Is this what you wanted? And they go, no. I'm sorry. Yeah. So now I just say, I'm sorry, I don't roast people with special needs. And that's my go-to line now.
It's like they get what they want, and you don't have to give them what they want.
Yeah.
That's nice. I would imagine it was like the Jackass crew after those movies came out, people wanting to be kicked in the nuts by them.
It's that, and it's just people expect me to be really mean, and I do think I'm a pretty nice person by default, and even like going into the Golden Globes, people are just like, be savage, just destroy them. Like people want blood for these celebrities, and I'm like, this isn't like, they're not healthcare CEOs. Like this is like kind of like the vibe. People are like, these are just people who made TV shows, but everyone's giving me advice like, just destroy, ruin their lives. And it's not even like, the Golden Globes isn't like a roast even. This isn't the Tom Brady roast. They're not paying, Kathy Bates isn't being paid $25 million for me to make fun of her. They're just there to get an award. So it's a delicate balance of like, I want to make the jokes that people want to hear. I mean, you've been through it.
Yeah, I think it's because of how Ricky Gervais did it at one time that people kind of expect that might happen.
Yeah.
But you're saying that's not the approach that you're going to take.
Well, it eventually will be. I think everyone thinks about Ricky at the Golden Globes, and it was his last one that he really went off when he said, I'm not doing this anymore. I don't care. I have nothing to lose. He had to like earn that I think he did it 3 times.
Right.
So I'm telling people, I'll do that the last time I host. The first time, I want them to invite me back. And so I'll give the audience at home what they want, but I also have to, the audience at home, no matter how funny the jokes are to them, they're not gonna laugh if I bomb in the room. Because you go off, you need a laugh track. So I have to kill in the room as well. So that's the balance of like not, having any crowd cutaway shots where the person looks super offended or anything like that. It's a delicate thing.
Yeah, and there's a lot of luck involved too. And also like if people have a sense of humor or not. Sometimes they're also just not listening, and it seems like they're offended, but they're really just like asking for the salt.
Yeah, I think that's what happens a lot of times. I've talked to directors about it, like, why would you cut to that person that looks mad? And they're like, well, they didn't. They just dropped their smile right before we cut to them by the time they got to them.
Yeah.
Or she was taking a sip of water because she was thirsty, not because she was throwing shade, But
also, those people tend to have like a camera right in their faces at that time. And it's funny because, like, if you're nominated, which you are, congratulations, you're not only hosting the show, you're nominated for the show. But It is funny because they'll put, when they're reading the nominations, they'll come up and they put the camera right on you.
Yes.
And then that's uncovered because, you want to look gracious.
Yeah.
But then sometimes they're reading the nominees and you notice there's no camera and you go, oh, I guess I lost.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah,
it's
one of the indicators that you did not win. Yeah.
Well, I recently didn't win an Emmy, lost an Emmy to Dick Van Dyke, and the fact that he was still there by the time they were reading it made me realize I'm not going to win. Like, we're in the third hour of this thing, and if he's sticking around, he better win. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
And
so,
nobody's beating Dick Van Dyke anyway. It's not how it's going to go.
Yeah.
So have you, how much research have you done? Have you been watching shows to figure out,
Yeah, I'm doing a ton of research. Well, yeah, I've been watching past monologues just to see cutaway shots, to see who's a good laugher, who's paying attention, who cares about. It's usually comedians. Comedians, anyone involved in comedy is going to be rooting for me. So a Martin Short, a Steve Martin, even I think De Niro's a great laugher. I've seen his shots are great. Who have you noticed, and who would you recommend?
De Niro's really good.
Damon,
Matt Damon?
Yeah, I feel like I know.
Let me explain what's going on. First of all, he's not nominated for anything, so
That's a good point.
he's not invited to the show.
He won't be there.
Say what he does is, he doesn't understand what's going on.
Right.
So he's like the cheerleaders, they don't know any of the rules of football, and they're like, whatever. And he's like, wait a minute, no, they just fumbled. What are you doing? That's Matt Damon at an award show.
All right.
He's like, this is the best documentary. What are you doing? Yeah, forget him. He's not going to be of any help at all.
Jeremy Strong will be there. I'm worried about his cutaway because he takes himself as he was on the show last night.
He was here last night.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I commented on the Instagram of him that I take Jeremy Strong taking things too seriously very seriously because I love his vibe. I just hope if we cut to him that night, he's studying to be some, Tickle Me Elmo or something. He's in the
your strategy then, if I understand this correctly, is to find the people who have a good sense of humor and punish them.
And
for it.
That's really what I'm doing. That's not fair at all.
No, but the world isn't fair.
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
No.
And it's the Golden Globes. You have to be prepared for that.
What is your advice as after hosting the Oscars and winning an Emmy for doing so? What is your advice?
Knock jokes. Nobody does them. But people love them. You never know where they're going. Let's take a break. Nikki Glazer is here with us. She is host of the Golden Globes. We'll be right back. Guys, with Nikki Glazer, who is the host of the Golden Globes. And you got a little, kind of a taste of it. I know you hosted this Women in Entertainment luncheon, which is a big deal, right?
It was a big deal. It was the Women's Power 100 Hollywood Reporter Women's Breakfast Gala, The Search for Curly's Gold, Part 1, Folia. I mean, it was the longest title, but it was at 8 a.m. in the morning for some of the most powerful women in the industry. It was, and I had to do the opening speech. I got asked to do it right before because someone else dropped out.
Is that right? Oh.
They just asked so late that you go, who said no?
Right.
But I said yes because I was like, oh, this will be good practice. And it was, the room is fully lit. I walk out, everyone's still standing and socializing and not eating their breakfast because it's a women's Hollywood breakfast. The most avocado toast that's ever been wasted in the history of food. I mean, dumpsters full of it behind the Beverly Hills Hotel right now. But I just got up there and it went really well and I worked really hard on it. But it's just and then Jennifer Lawrence gets up there and she's just like, oh, this podium's tall, and everyone's like, ah, just dies. I'm out there picking every word, and she's just someone that can go out and just be
there's some magic about her that you can't help it.
Yeah, she's getting the Mark Twain Comedy Prize, I think, next year.
Oh, is that right?
Yes. She was like Bernie Mac at Def Jam. It was she was like, it's cold in here, and I was just falling out of their chairs.
Are you playing bigger venues now as a result?
Yeah, I mean, life changed after the roast. It's a theater tour and innumerable dates on my tour, which is so fun. And then just getting asked to do some corporate gigs that come through where you just can't say no because the money looks like a phone number.
They pay you a lot of money.
It's insane, and I don't even read what it's about. I go, so yeah, in Cabo, I'll go do this on a Wednesday afternoon. What
did you do in Cabo?
So I get there, and that's when I research what it is. Well, because I share a van from the airport to the hotel with someone who's going to the conference, and it's the president of Yahoo, and I'm like, oh no, and it's It is like 35 billionaires that literally run the media.
Wait a minute. The guy who runs Yahoo is a billionaire?
Oh, yeah, big time.
There's still a Yahoo?
Yeah, I dimmed my screen so I could do net worth while I'm in the shuttle with him. Certainly a billionaire. And I get there, and it's like the people who would decide my fate. And I'm about to perform for them. And not only is it a stand-up show at the end of a long day where they're golfing and going to conferences all day and getting cooking tutorials from Giada De Laurentiis, as if any of these billionaires have been in a kitchen other than when they run in to scream at a woman named Marta. You know, it's like, it's insane. So I go, the show is a surprise stand-up comedy show. No one knows about it. And so stand-up is the worst thing to surprise someone with. They're like, it's been a long day, they've just eaten dinner, they wanna like have a fun night, the DJ is setting up, you can like see the fun is coming, like the child sacrifice is being like, you know, arranged in the corner, the goat's blood margaritas are being whipped up, and they're like, no, a stand-up comedian who no one really cared about. I walk up to a smattering of applause. The first joke I made was, it was something about I'm used to performing, you know, I thought if I'd perform in front of billionaires, it would be you guys bidding on my body, just crickets. I said, oh, it's nice to be, it was right before the election. I said, it's so cool to meet all the people that are deciding who's gonna be president. No laughter in a way that was like, how does she know? Like, it was eerie. I should have known. In an hour, performed for an hour or two. And Jimmy, it's on a beach. It was on the sand. I had to walk through sand.
On the beach?
On the beach. And it was totally pitch dark because it's night, but there's just a spotlight. Everyone in the audience is lit, which is the worst for stand-up because you want to be able to laugh at jokes without someone knowing, like, oh, you relate to that? And they're with their peers and their wives, so they're miserable. And they're in Cabo with their wives. And so it is brutal. I can't even like go to jokes that like might have saved me. Like I'm going to jokes I told 11 years ago that I don't even know the ending to. Like I'm just in crisis mode, and I get through it. And Kevin Hart was there because he was doing like a fireside chat the next day, which is the best gig to have at these things because you're just like sitting around with some billionaires going like, you know, it's about thought. You know, you just say like, you know, just believe in yourself. Like you don't have to be funny to these people who don't care about funny. And so I was like, before I went up, I go, Kevin, stick around. Oh my God, thank you for being here. He was one of the big reasons that I did so well in the roast. He was just so supportive. And so at the end of the set, and I'm just bombing, I go, I want to do some roast jokes about Kevin that I didn't do. Kevin, where are you? He's gone. I walked Kevin Hart or toddled him, whatever he does. And the only time they laughed was when I told them how much money I was making for it. They were like, what? That's how much I paid to a woman this morning to stop harassing my family. It haunted me. It's only now a month and a half out that I can like laugh about it because it was so bad.
That's how life goes, right? One minute you're
God.
at the roast riding high, the next thing you're on the beach with some billionaire.
Yes, that's how it goes. This is business, baby.
Well, best of luck. Break a leg at the Golden Globes. The Golden Globes, January 5th. You can watch them on CBS and Paramount Plus. Nikki Glazer, everybody. Thank you, Nikki. We'll be back with Nicholas Holt.